Written and and eek, and the word blessing, and day. See, so it's glitten, then eek, it, eek, and the rest. I don't remember. I have to look at the. I have to look at the. Yeah, yeah. Isn't all that stuff in the way?
Yeah, it is. Hey, Darlene, you know what was it?
You,
You throw some?
yeah.
Okay. A little bit sweet. There you go. It's good. Come on. Give me this.
Yeah, so because of, you don't need to use, you don't need to use each. Either, you have to pick out either each or every one, because you're repeating the same, really repeating the same thing. You know, that's what I realized when I saw it.
Alrighty.
It'd probably be reading to everyone instead of having each.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, we are prepared to do a rehearsal with about Sojourner Truth with Julia, and this is Saturday, December 12th. Um, we have a fresh script that we're going to work our way through, and Julia, you want to talk about what the process has been for you at this point? When you want to talk about the process that you have been going through in terms of developing this piece.
Well, from studying a lot about Sojourner Truth, I'm familiar with a lot of things that's being mentioned here. The studying the Dutch language, studying the accents. Dutch people speak very fast. Uh, they, it's almost when you hear them talk, it's almost like you think you're listening to English. To be honest, I mean, in my opinion, I just really feel as though that the Dutch language has melted so much into the the English language that the similarities we wouldn't even, it doesn't stand out boldly because it's gotten so infiltrated into our own way of speaking. Plus, I know that when the Dutch took the slaves over to the Caribbean, and they had a lot of slaves in the Caribbean, on the Caribbean islands. Some of that accent sounds kind of Caribbean. I noticed that too. Okay, so
All right, so what we're gonna do is take it from the top, and we'll stop and go as we need to do so.
okay, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't write down the translation.
Okay,
Which and I have to look on the iPad and I have to put it on there. So that's
okay.
the only thing that's missing.
All right, so because the first line is basically, we
I
want
have
that to
just
be
been,
in Dutch. And,
yeah, that would be in Dutch,
okay.
right? And then I start speaking English.
Mhm.
First I greet in Dutch, and then I will say, I have just greeted you in the Dutch language. That was my first and only language until I was about 9 or 10 years old. I am Sojourner Truth, and only until I was about. Okay. I am Sojourner Truth, and I lived for 86 years from 1797 to 1883. I came to have this name when one day the voice of God spoke directly to me, giving me the name Sojourner Truth and the mission to travel the land, speaking the truth against all matters that deny or prevent the delivery of God given rights of all the people, from the youngest to the oldest. The first of these matters, which I address today, is the truth about the quote, "Ain't I a woman?" I never said it. My good associate, Marius Robinson, was the secretary of the Women's Convention in Akron, Ohio, and he recorded verbatim what I truly said. According to Mr. Robinson's records, I posed the following three questions to my audience. One, can any man do more than that? Two, and how came Jesus into the world? Three, man, where was your part? Not one, ain't I a woman, let alone the three lines, 1875, 1881, and 1889, Francis Cage fabricated in her telling of the speech 12 years later. I have devoted my life to the pursuit of equal rights for all, and especially for women who look like me, for we are the ones who literally gave birth to and built the United States of America with our blood, sweat, and tears. When I was 9 years old, I was sold at an auction with a flock of sheep for $160. My new owner was cruel and harsh. He beat me daily. Yeah. Once he beat me with a bundle of rods, which pained me quite severely for some time after. John nearly sold me to my next owner, Matthias Scroven,
Scriber?
Scriber,
Mhm.
a tavern owner who sold me 18 months later to John Dumont, who has caused me much consternation on some of my most important and intimate matters.
So let me stop you here. So he beat me daily and so forth like that, that's,
Yeah, I would check that about the beating
mhm.
daily. I mean, they mistreated her, but to me, that whole story, but the emphasis on how he beat her with them rods
Mhm.
because she couldn't speak English,
Mhm.
because she could not speak English. He
Mhm.
beat her with those rods. That is something that needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she got whipped in the first place.
Okay.
And that was the worst whipping she has ever received in her whole time as a slave. Was when he beat her with those rods.
And it's because she couldn't speak English. She had been
Yeah, that's why
raised.
she got whipped.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
I
that's just
know.
so. Yeah, that definitely needs to be a part
Yeah,
of
because she was
the
speaking
settlement.
Dutch and she didn't understand. She didn't understand nothing they were saying to her.
Right.
And
Right.
then his wife got upset. And
Wow.
she told him to do something about this child. So he took her outside and whipped her with the rods.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I get ready to leave?
Okay.
Do you want me to leave the door so that you could go out and come in, or do you want me to leave it so it latches and closes?
It can be that it latches and closes. We'll just keep it somebody on the
Somebody,
other side.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Guess it must be the lights.
Okay. Let's pick it up at 12 years later.
Hmm. 12 years later.
Bottom last paragraph.
I have devoted my life.
No, 12 years later, the next paragraph.
Hmm.
We had read everything through just the last paragraph on page 1.
What comes next?
12 years later.
12 years later in 1863?
Mm-hmm.
12 years later, in 1863, after I gave a speech in Akron, Ohio at the Women's Convention, Frances Dana Baker Cage published her version of my speech, and from her lies and deceit, I learned many things about myself. For example, many of my 13 children were sold away into slavery. Before Mrs. Cage's false biography, I had only 5 children, and I do not think I forgot about the other 8. What an insult Mrs. Cage does to a mother who loves her precious children. My firstborn, James, died while still a child. My next was Diana, and her father, John Dumont, caused me much consternation. He illegally sold my 5-year-old son, Peter, to a harsh Alabama slaveholder who beat my poor, undefended boy. It was my good fortune to know a generous couple, Isaac and Maria Van Wagen, helped me fight in the courts until I got Peter back with me and his 3 sisters. I became the first black woman to take a white man to court and win. Okay, that's not what we have to go over.
Okay, what's up?
The sisters, she left the sisters with Dumont because legally Dumont, because of the what you call it, the deferred, the work, the deferred. I always get that word mixed up.
Mm-hmm. Deferred.
When the contract is for you to work so many years.
Indentured servant.
Yeah, indentured servant.
Mm-hmm.
Her children were indentured servant according to the law. The reason why she had got Peter is because he was sold illegally to the South. So the courts awarded her with Peter free and clear. No indentured service, nothing. They gave him free. But the rest of her kids stayed with Dumont.
Okay.
The baby that she ran away with, Van Wagner paid. I think I was telling you that when she left Dumont, she ran off with her baby, and he came after her and asked her to come back home. And he said that she didn't come back home. He'll take the baby. Legally, the baby was his. Van Wagner came and paid Dumont so much money that he paid for the baby and for the rest of uh, Sojourner, which she was Isabella then, the rest of her indentured service.
Okay, he brought a contract out.
Right, she left the contract. He promised her he was going to let her go. And then after she completed everything he told her to, he changed his mind again. He changed his mind a couple of times. That's why she left. And Van Wagner brought the baby.
And this is Diane.
He brought the baby, not Diane. Diane had to stay. Diane stayed, and the rest of her children. This was a newborn baby.
Oh, okay.
She ran off with a newborn baby. Now, I'm going to take it that when she had to go to court, she took the baby and gave the baby to her oldest daughter and her older children to watch over while she was out fighting for Peter. When she won Peter, the courts awarded her with Peter free. So the only one that was free was her, Peter, and the youngest child. But I never did find out exactly what happened with the youngest child. I think the youngest child and all her kids, they stayed with Dumont until their time, their indentured time was up.
Now, and were any of them Dumont's biological children?
There's no record that says that he was. There's no records. Even though you have to just kind of assume. Because they try to say that they just guessed that Diana was from that guy, which I don't think so. Just like you said, I mean, it's in that book that I gave you, he suggested that, I think he did, that that she was having sex with him for one time, with Dumont. Like I told you, she adored Dumont. But when he wouldn't hold up to his contract, she had had enough, so that's when she was his best worker. That's when she left. So that's how that went. The children, the girls, all the rest of the children stayed with Dumont because of the indentured contract. That's something else that I wish I could talk about, is how that indentured contract go with. When you're talking about it to an audience, it might be kind of hard for them to hold the concept of between this time to this time, a person is supposed to be considered free. But if you have children between this time and this time, the children will still be, still have to give so many years to the slave owner. But the way they did the contract, the adult is so old, I think the way I figured it out, because mathematically, that they really don't have much of a life after the way they did the contract. Because it's on there. One of those books breaks down the indentured service that they had in the South. But it was all tricky. It was all tricky to still keep them enslaved.
Well, and the rules for white indentured servants differed.
Oh, they were different. Yes.
From black indentured
Yes.
servants,
From the start.
Exactly. And that's how slavery, the institution of slavery came about, is by these court rulings that kept taking away the rights of black folks as they moved forward. So slavery wasn't like a one day enslaved. It was like a process that happened over a period of time that started really strongly once those Africans got to Jamestown in 1619.
Mhm.
And so when Sojourner Truth talks about taking a white man to court, in the 1800s, it's because it's been a long history of the courts taking away freedom bit by bit for, black folks. And so here she goes to court and wins against the white man. And that's worth celebrating because that just hadn't been happening. So,
That's true.
that's a
That's
big
true.
deal. And I
Because,
think you're right in terms of like giving some very deep outline of what indentured servitude is all about is
right.
important.
At least, I can do the outline of indentured servitude for the North.
Okay, and
I
that's
don't
fine.
know
That's
what
fine.
it was for the South.
No, it almost didn't
Yeah,
exist in the
for
South.
the one for the North. Because in the very beginning, the impression that I got, they brought the slaves. I think I don't know when. I have to look up when they reached. Became the state of New York. That was the Dutch.
Mhm.
And I don't think there was no. I don't think any real. You know, I don't think. I mean, I have to really check it.
Yeah,
As far as law, I don't think they considered us as human beings in the very beginning.
Right,
They got us from Africa, and that was it.
right.
And then after a while, they developed a conscious.
I don't know if
What's
that
what
was
that's supposed to be?
let's hope that's what it was. Let's
All of
hope.
a sudden, you got a conscience, and you thinking, oh, well, this is not right. We should let them go after so long. But they fixed it, so, but I can do that.
Okay, so you're gonna do a kind of like
Yeah,
an outline of
right.
of what indentured servitude looked like in the North.
At least
Talk about
she
that.
was caught up in the indentured
Mhm.
servitude because they passed a new law.
Mhm.
It had something to do with the war.
Okay.
And they passed after the Civil War. They made a new law, if I remember correctly,
Mhm.
and she fell under the new law,
Okay.
which means that Dumont was supposed to have let her go,
Okay. So,
and she hurt her hand. So
Uh-huh.
he said that she didn't do as much work as she normally
Right,
did.
right.
She worked more than any of the men. She did triple
right,
times the work that the men do. But
right,
he still said, "Well, you didn't do what you normally do."
right.
So he told her, after you spin this wool, then I'll let you go.
Okay.
And she worked double time to spin the wool. She spent all the wool, and she said, "Okay, I'm finished with the wool." She says, "Can I leave now?"
Right.
And he said, "No." And that's when she said she had done had it. So she got her things packed and got the baby and just left.
So you can tell the whole define the indentured servitude by telling her story.
Right.
That's what.
Yeah, that's why she left.
Like
She
telling
left
her story.
because she had did her time.
Mhm.
He considered that she didn't because she hurt her hand.
Mhm.
And then he told her to spin all that wool,
Mhm.
which is the amount of wool that she spent. A normal person could not have done it because she was such a hard worker.
Mhm.
She spent all that wool in half the time it would take any other human being to do it.
Okay.
And after she finished all that work,
Mhm.
and she said, "Well, okay, can I go?" And he said, "No." He changed his mind, "No."
Right.
And she said,
Right.
I have given this man my life,
Right.
my soul. I work harder than all his workers. He promised me this,
Mhm.
and now he's backing out of the agreement."
Mhm.
So she decided to take it upon herself.
Mhm.
I have done everything I'm supposed to do. I'm leaving.
Mhm.
So she walked off.
All right. So yeah.
Mhm.
So you basically tell her story, and by telling her story, you're telling what indentured servitude looked like.
Right. I just
And-
don't have the dates as to the reason why.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of
Which means that's the reason why that she had to leave her kids.
okay.
Because when I first read her story, I never could understand why she left her children. She just
Right.
walked off and left her kids.
Right,
And she had no other choice. She had to
Right.
leave her children because they, according
Right.
to the law, they still
Right.
belong to Dumont.
right. And that's an important detail too, because that's what influenced actions and behavior is not, you couldn't see it from, the unobservant eye. If you weren't in the middle of it, you couldn't know the details of it.
Right.
And so from the outside looking in, it didn't make any sense. But being able to tell the story from the inside looking out, you can explain to people why choices were made and everything like that. And then we end with, again, this first black woman to take a white man to court and win.
Right.
And that wasn't easy. That wasn't
No,
just luck.
no, no.
She had to know how
Women,
to do that.
women were considered, even though they was talking about,
Right.
they just
And
dismissed.
a black woman, my
And
goodness.
she was persistent.
Uh-huh.
And, and I was surprised when I read how she won that case.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, everybody knew it was illegal to sell somebody from the north to the south. That was illegal. That's the reason why when she got the boy back, they awarded him free because he was illegally, the law was broken.
Okay.
Yeah, but unfortunately, if you followed the story, the boy had a unhappy ending. She decided to go to New York. She took him to New York. He got into all that bad. She took him to New York City. She was ready in New York State. She took him to the city, and the city was
beat him down, huh?
Oh man, and New York is still almost like that. He got corrupted. He got corrupted, hanging with those boys. He kept going to jail, and then finally she got him in the Merchant Marines, and he wrote her letters, and all of a sudden the letters stopped. And see, the Merchant Marines, they don't like you, they toss you over the side. And I was told that when I was in the Navy, that you don't be getting people wrong. The next thing you know is man overboard. You don't be pissing people off in the Navy if you want a ship,
Not a good idea, huh?
That's right.
Choose your spots. Yeah.
And so when she stopped hearing from him, she knew that he was dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that would be, we're going to isolate this. And what comes before that? We're talking about Francis Gage.
Okay, with Francis Cage, let's see now, where we at? Which paragraph?
Okay, what we just finished doing was the first full paragraph, the page on the top page to my firstborn James died. But what needs to happen is that this third paragraph here, over the years, I've considered suing Miss Gage.
Something, Alabama, okay. It was my good fortune, no ignorance. That's okay. It was, Onis got Peter back with me. No, she did not get back his three sisters. She did not get
Right,
those girls back.
basically,
No,
you're
he stayed with- he stayed
gonna
with Dumont.
rework that entire section
Yeah,
there.
yeah, legally they was with them.
By the time you put in the research in terms of the indentured servitude and the court proceedings, the whole trial in terms of getting to her winning her court case, that whole paragraph there is gonna be restructured, okay?
Okay,
What I'm talking about in terms of, we were talking about from page one of Francis Gage, and then we just kind of jumped to firstborn James.
yeah, because we went.
Then we go back to Francis Gage. Over the years, I've considered suing Ms. Gage. So what I'm suggesting here is that we just put this over the years I've considered suing Ms. Gage. Put this with the top, the first paragraph there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you're talking about the one about the boy,
I'm talking about.
Francis Cage?
I'm talking about starts on page one. At the bottom of page one, 12 years
12
later,
years later.
1863.
Right.
Right. You can use that whole paragraph that goes on to page two, right?
A version of my speech and from her lives. I learned many things about myself that I didn't know. For example, I had 13 children. That was so weird. It's literally true.
So go to page two, like you did. Finish that paragraph. Mother who loves her precious children.
Only 5 children. And do not think I forgot about the other 8. What an insult Miss Cage does to a mother who loves her precious children.
Then skip down to the next paragraph.
Over the years, I have considered suing Miss Cage for libel, but being busy with so many issues of much more important than a scheming, screaming shrill such as she is, seemed like a scant use of my time. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
A scant use of my time. She republished her lies in 1875, 1881, and 1889, and now many of you are shocked to hear the truth about this. I'm sure. Go on, give yourself a hand for deciding to come visit with old Sojourner Truth today. We're going to forget about Francis Cage and get back to what is most important, and that is gaining the right for women to vote equal like the man is most important. Is that right? Let's see. We're going to forget about Francis Cage and get back to what is most important, and that is gaining the right for women to vote equally like the men is most important.
Equal like the men. Just end it with like equal like the men.
Yeah,
So we'll scratch most important.
Yeah. it was gaining the right for women to vote equally. Let's see, what is most important? Oh, I said most important. I said twice. You caught that.
Yeah.
Francis
just
Cage,
cut off the
get
last-
back to what is, you got most important. And then on the end, you got most important.
That's why we.
That's what happened.
Cutting is most important at the end.
Yeah.
Cut that.
So you already have most important in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So what is most important is that most important. See, we're going to forget about Francis Cage and get back to what's most important. And that is gaining the rights for women to vote equally like the men.
Here.
I think it leaves there, it stops there.
Mhm.
And maybe, unless you want to emphasize it again, I guess you can say this is what's most important.
No, just equal like men. It's ended with men.
Okay. That is gaining the rights, gaining the right for women to vote equal like men or equally like men.
Whichever
Gaining
way
the-
makes sense for you. Whatever way feels best for you.
Equally like men. I don't know if you want to check that. I can't. I got to put it in. It's a program on my computer, the one that's not working right. And that straightens out my sentences sometimes if I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. But I can't use it until my new computer comes, which I bought another computer. I ordered it, it haven't came yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me go forward.
Mm-hmm.
We got to learn from the Bible and be like Esther, pushing back against those selfish men that got women rights and their own too, and yet they still won't give women their rights. They keep them all to themselves. To do this is America. To do this in America makes a mockery of this democracy. If a woman owns a house or property, as I do, then that woman and I pay taxes. And if a citizen pays taxes, then that citizen should have a right to vote and a right to equal justice in the courts of the government. Furthermore, black women have birthed babies, built roads, and dug ditches. So if the man wants to be fair and make life better for women, then they should encourage the women's rights to vote because surely voting is easier than building roads. Allowing all citizens equal access to vote is the key to the success of this democracy. After the war and with slavery ended, some of those who used to be slaves started living on government aid. Government aid is paid for by the taxpayer, and this arrangement is not good for the colored people, nor for you taxpayers.
Here,
Did I skip one?
no,
Government aid is paid for by the taxpayers, and this arrangement is not good for the colored people, nor for you taxpayers. Heard
it's what they
today.
hear today.
Oh, here, okay. Okay. Government aid is paid for by the taxpayers, and this arrangement is not good for the colored people, nor for you taxpayers here today listening to me tell you what you already know. Why should you have to carry the burden of another man, woman, or child who is not legally bound to you by blood or contract? January 1st, 1871, on the 8th anniversary of Negro freedom, I spoke to an audience in Boston. To this dilemma, I reported on 7 years of effort that included meeting with President Grant at the White House to secure land grants for them who used to be slaves. I said to the president, colored men and women want to move their families away from, away from, away from.
Their families away from,
Okay, so we take out one away from.
yeah.
Okay. Colored men and women want to move their families away from places where the rebels are unhappy about the end of their being masters and owners. These are places where colored people are unprotected from shootings and being burnt out of their homes, and these are no place to call. And homes, and these are no places to call home. And these are no places to call home. The government needs to give colored people a chance to go out west and build their own homes where they can prosper. This is what God had me to say on that day, where we all gathered to mark 8 years since President Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation, and whatever God commands determines what I say and do. The first time God spoke my name, Sojourner Truth, to me was on June 1st, 1843. And soon after I told my family and friends, the Spirit calls me and I must go. My travels carried me across the country, speaking to hundreds and thousands of citizens like you here today. In many places I was warmly welcomed, while in other places, not so much. Let me tell you about a time when it was not so much. It was September 1853, when I faced a group of young men in the audience who were hissing and groaning about women wanting their rights. So I said to them, you may hiss as much as you please, but women will get their rights anyway. You can't stop us, neither. Another time, something like that happened. Okay. Another time something like that happened was about 5 years later when a man's voice in the audience interrupted my speech to accuse me of being a man. And to this very moment, I do not know what made me do it, but I ripped open my blouse and showed my breasts. I guess you might call it a 19th century wardrobe malfunction, Johnny Jackson. Toothless. Oh, sorry. I must have been having one of those days, you know. In this line of work, I rise and flow with the mood of the crowd. But the crowd does not know anything about how, as a young woman, I fell in love with a man named Robert. But the man who owned Robert did not want his slave to have children with a slave he did not own. Because he would not own our children. One day, Robert's owner called him in my house, and he had Robert beat so bad that Robert died. Well, we know that Robert didn't die right there.
Mhm.
Just like just like that, the man I love is dead. Yeah, that didn't happen like that.
Okay.
Just like that man I love is dead. You folks listening here to old Sojourner do not know me, but trust what you hear me say is directly from God, for I am merely a tool and the uh, arsenal being used to tame this harsh, hard world.
Okay, so this story with Robert then, you want to take that and flush that out?
Uh, it needs to be changed.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I told you what happened with Robert. Robert got beaten in front of her. He was beaten in front of her, and Dumont couldn't take it no more. And Dumont stopped. He stopped his master from having his men
Mhm,
beat Robert.
mhm,
So they took Robert was still living. They took Robert back,
mhm,
and supposedly Robert married one of the other slaves, so he did not live long.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
after he married the other slave, because he just was so wounded from the beating. The beating was bad because supposedly, even though Dumont stopped the beating, he was on Dumont's property. So Dumont did not want to allow him to continue beating a Robert. So when they got back to his his place, they finished beating Robert.
So what was the time period between the time Robert was beaten to the time he died?
Uh, if he, because I gotta see which book it is, because uh, I don't. Some of these books have exaggerated. Anything out of the book she wrote, or I think it was the autobiography of Sojourner Truth. The book that she wrote is more accurate, and I gotta check to see who said what.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the books said that he remarried, that he got him to marry one of the slaves, and he didn't live long after that.
Okay, so just like you're gonna do the.
But he did not die in front of her. But Dumont stopped it.
No, I didn't think he died in front of her, but I thought he died pretty close to when he was beaten.
Yeah, it just makes it seem as though that he died in front of her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
no,
when you read it, that's what it sounds like. And Robert caught him, okay, and he had Robert beat so bad that Robert died. Now that sounds like beat so bad Robert died. Robert died in front of her, right there.
Mm-hmm.
He beat him so bad Robert died.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert did not die. She did not see Robert die. Dumont came and stopped it.
Okay.
Because Dumont was there.
And that's
Dumont
the
was
story.
there when they
That's the
found
story
him.
I want. That's the story we want to include.
Mhm. Yeah, because that's what really happened.
All right. So then, like you're doing with the court stuff with the indentured servitude.
Yeah, well, I gotta do that.
I want you to
Oh,
do
the
it with the same,
servitude.
with the same.
This is the, and I already told you that. Some books trying to say that. That's who Diane was from. Or
Right.
was from Robert. I disagree. I cannot go along with what you're saying.
Okay, so however you want to structure it in terms of telling that story,
Oh,
I want
okay.
you to I want you to construct the way that the story gets told.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so that would be expand on that story and tell it.
Yeah, but that would stretch out the time. Okay, now the convention. Okay, now this is the one that I need to
All right, and
see
then
if I could do this because I want to get up. Let's see. Okay. You ready?
mhm.
Okay. Also, I want you to respond for me also. When I say, may I say a few words?
Okay.
May I say a few words?
Yes.
I want to say a few words.
Yes, please.
Okay, hopefully I won't be getting up stumbling like that. I am a woman rights. I have as much muscle as any man and can do as much work as any man. I have plowed and raked and husked and chopped and mowed, and can any man do more than that? I have heard much about the sexes being equal. I can carry as much as any man and can eat as much as any man too, if I can get it. I am as strong as any man, and that is now. As for intellect, all I can say is if a woman have a pint and a man a quart, why can't she have her little pint full? You need not be afraid to give us our rights for fear you will take too much and we will take too much. But we can't take more than our pint of whole. The poor man seems to be all in confusion and don't know what to do. Why, children, if you have women's rights, give it to her and you will feel better. You will have your own rights and there won't be so much trouble. I can't read, but I can hear. I have the Bible and have learned that Eve caused man to sin. Well, if woman upset the world, do give her a chance to sit to the right side up again. The lady has spoken about Jesus, how he never spurned women from him. And she was right. When Lazarus died, Mary and Martha came to him and with faith and love and besought him to raise their brother. And Jesus wept and Lazarus came forth. And how came Jesus into the world? Through God who created him and a woman who bore him. Man, where is your part? But women are coming up blessed by God, and a few of the men are coming up with them. But man is in a tight place. The poor slave is on him. Women is coming on him, and he is surely between a hook and a buzzard. I gotta memorize this. That's what I want to do.
So
Yeah, I gotta memorize this speech.
and
Okay.
expand on
Okay.
two stories. So basically, your homework is that you're going to expand the story in terms of indentured servitude and her court battle,
Mhm.
okay? And then to the situation with Robert in terms of how that will work out in terms of him dying. And I think this is gonna run about,
Because actually, they don't really
about 30
have,
to 40 minutes.
they don't really have any proof, in my opinion, that Robert died, period. Because Robert was alive when he left there. He was alive when they left there because Dumont stopped the beating. He was in bad shape, but he was still breathing. They took him away. So I don't know how they found out. I don't know what the slave told them, how they found out that Robert died.
Well, when you get this, so you think it's in the section of the book, of her autobiography. Is that the book you gave me?
Mm.
Is that the book that you gave me, her autobiography book?
Well, that one is not my favorite book. What I like about that book is it has a lot of stuff in it that you don't find in other books.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of what that man wrote was his opinion
Mm-hmm.
instead of with facts.
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes into a lot of sexual stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
In his book, I think I mentioned that to you before. He goes into a lot of sexual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, where does he have the evidence? Now, I know there was a lot of mess with Marcus. My daughter was reading a book I gave her. She hasn't given it back to me, about Sojourner Truth. And she took interest in uh, the one about the preacher, the false preacher. I don't know, everybody wants to pay a lot of attention to that. But in her book, is slightly mentioned because there was a lot of mess. You know, it was a lot of mess. The man uh, had people thinking that he was God's prophet. And it was a mess. It was a mess. He took this man's wife. He married this man's wife. The man was legally married. He actually got these people to follow him, took interest in this man's wife, took the man's wife from him, married the man's wife, had the man at the marriage ceremony. He's sitting there watching his wife being married.
Who is this? I'm not clear. Who is this that we're talking about?
Now, I can't remember the man's name, but the people who follow her story seem to take interest in this man. So this man he became very known because he became this big prophet everybody believed in. And then to find out the man was phony. And then they married the man, wife, and had some of the other church members. I don't know if they were orgies going on, or I don't know what kind of mess, but it was a mess.
Sounds like it.
And she said in her book, she said that she could go into more details about what happened with that man, but she preferred to put that behind her. Now, that man, it was another gentleman who followed him, one of the first ones, and that man ended up dying. And that was when the law got involved because they were trying to figure out how did he die.
Mm-hmm.
So the man's somebody said it was Sojourner Truth. They said she killed him, that she poisoned him, and that's how the man died. The man had lost his wife for one thing. That was not the man who had to see his wife get married. Oh, that's not him. This man had lost his wife, I think, at the beginning of when this guy became real popular. And he was in deep grieving. So with the grieving, and the man was rich, and this false prophet took all of that man's money to support his church, took all the man's money. The man was already grieving over his wife. He just took advantage. And I think the man really died of a broken heart. I think that's how the man died. So they was trying to say this woman I can't remember which woman it was, she said that Sojourner Truth poisoned it. So it went to court, and somebody witnessed and said it wasn't true. That Sojourner Truth did not poison the man. But anyway, she got out of it. She got out of the charges.
Wow.
And when the court released her from that, she got out of there. She left that she left that city. I think she might have left that state. And I think that might have been when she went to Massachusetts. But she got away from that.
Wow, she was
Yeah.
in court a lot, huh?
Yeah, that was a mess. Because she thought that she believed in this man. But when she saw some of the things he was doing, you don't marry somebody else's wife in front of their face. That shows you right there the man wasn't what he pretended to be.
Yeah, you gotta find his name and,
Oh yeah, it's in just about all the books will mention him. Somewhat will mention him. But my daughter took a interest in that and said how she was released from the charges. So it was a legal battle, another legal battle that she had to go through. In fact, I think I saw that written down that she had to go through two legal battles in her life. One was about her son. The other one was when they said that she killed this man. So she had to go to court with both of them.
Wow.
And she ended up getting out of that second one.
Yeah.
She was going through.
Sounds like it, huh? Good gracious.
That's why you gotta be careful about these people that you be following. You know, he took that poor man. That man was in heavy mourning. He took all that man's money, and then having or taking the other women who was following him and the orgies and all that their stuff. And that part is published in the book that you got says it shows where he got the reference or where he got the information. But I didn't. I could have went and looked it up in this magazine or this newspaper that it was all published in because it was a big thing in town about this man. But I decided no, that was a negative part of her life that she realized she made a mistake getting involved with those people, and she got out of the accusation of murder. And after that, she left. She, like they say, brushed her feet and went on. You know, she went on. That was terrible. Yeah, but his name, his name is in the book. It starts with an M.
Yeah, so when you expand on the two stories that you're gonna expand on.
Oh man, there's so many stories about her.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, you could do a mini series because I don't think all that stuff can be covered in a movie. It's too much stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's too much stuff. She went through stuff after stuff after stuff after stuff. It was a constant roller coaster. Yes, it was a constant roller coaster.
All right, so we're gonna shut down the podcast in terms of the rehearsal.
How much time did we spend on just this?
I don't know, what time is it? We started at.
Let's see how we doing as far as doing an hour.
Oh, we're gonna be right about an hour.
We about that.
We're gonna be right about an hour.
Okay, with all the extra stuff, I be able to stretch it.
I think an hour is good. You think it needs to be more than that? I think an hour is perfect.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to make sure that we had enough to make it an hour.
Oh, we do. We definitely do. Yeah, we definitely do. Because once we expand on 2 story points, then we can start dealing with pacing and stuff like that, and everything like that. But we got plenty here, yeah. We got plenty here.
Okay. I'm gonna have to try to, when we start getting, close to time, have to do more of this to get this pinpoint right.
And don't look at, the December, we're still developing it.
Mhm.
and, shaping it and everything like that. So, you're gonna be going back to, Miami?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I booked the flight for January 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been up and down, with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And if things wasn't looking good, I was going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I thought that he wasn't going to come anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was very upset with me
Mm-hmm.
about, I say, I have to be here because of my health. And he refused to see that. And that's just the selfishness of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just thinking about his own self,
Mm-hmm.
not me.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is so through with the ups and downs and me having to come here and this, because he could have came.
Mm-hmm.
He was never denied to come.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that didn't want to come
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Now my question is, why you want to stay there? Stay there.
His
So,
family is there?
I felt like if it was going to end up being a problem, I'll stay.
Mm-hmm.
But when I talked to him last, his attitude was pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Mm-hmm.
I won't really know until he comes. If he comes and there's a lot of negativity and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
then hey, there's the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You can go,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll stay here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to leave if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna leave and go back with you and be stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just have to see when he comes. I'm not going to Williamsburg anymore.
Oh, you're not?
Ayana talked to me last night and said, look, I think you should cancel it. And I said, I've been thinking, I've been sort of that.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin didn't want me to go anyway. My cousin, Karen, she caught the virus. Yeah, and I was shocked. And Karen she's always very business type
Mm-hmm.
woman, always into. She had pretty good jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and she must have went to New York on something related to her job, and she caught the virus. She didn't feel the effect of it until she was I don't know, was she on the plane or on the train,
Mm-hmm.
but that's when she felt it on her way back,
Mm.
and she said she was real sick.
She go to the hospital?
Hmm.
Was she in the hospital?
I'm trying to remember if she was in the hospital. She tried to do it at home. I know she got real sick.
Mm.
She lost a lot of weight.
Mm.
Yeah, she was already a small person,
Mm.
but she lost a lot of weight.
Goodness.
And she said you shouldn't go to Williamsburg. That's not a good idea. But I had already, put the deposit, which I was tricked.
Yeah, I heard
Tricked
about that.
by my dear
Mm.
daughter. She told me that it was something on there about payment plans,
Mm-hmm.
and she handed me the iPad and said, "Look, I gotta go because I got a customer I have to do. You finish this." So she handed me the iPad, and I'm looking at this thing. I said, "Well, all I saw was put my name and stuff. So I put my name and stuff on there and finished it, and then it went to the payment." But you got to use a card to put a deposit down.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the card, put the deposit down, and then I went to the end, and it said finish.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to take me to the page that you go to do the payment, the monthly
Right,
payment.
right.
They didn't do that. So when she called me that night, I told her what happened. She said, "You didn't go to the payment plan?" I said, "You just handed me the iPad, and I started filling it out."
Right.
I told you I had a customer to do. No, she blamed me. But what we gonna do? How we gonna pay the balance when we get there? She knew I had the money,
Mm-hmm. Were you able to get it back?
Yeah, because it was a new credit card that I had gotten. I didn't know that they had gave me all this new balance, and she saw it. She saw it because I had it on the bed.
Wow.
She saw it, so she knew. She knew.
So were you able to get your money back?
She knew what she was doing. So she promised that she was gonna give me back the money for the balance,
Mhm.
which means my, Ayana had to pay so much to me for the balance. And Alicia, who's coming from Miami, she's flying in with Greg,
Mhm.
is gonna pay the balance. Nobody got no money.
Mhm.
It's a December.
Right.
You ain't got no money, so Ayana came to me last night and says, look,
Wow.
why don't you just go ahead and cancel that William Burr? Because I don't have no good feeling about that. Ain't
Mhm.
nobody got no money.
Mhm.
You know, so you get your money back. That money that you paid deposit, you get your money back.
Oh, good.
So the only person, and she had already spoken to my youngest daughter who said, yeah, I feel the same way, you know, on the FaceTime. My
Mhm.
youngest daughter agreed.
Mhm.
Only person didn't know was,
Mhm.
I told her this morning,
Mhm.
just before we came,
Mhm.
she was angry. What? Don't give me not 1 cent on this.
Wow.
1 cent. She went off. Well, how y'all cancel the trip? That's number one, this is dangerous. We're going to Williamsburg. We're going to be around all these people.
Mhm.
We don't know. We could be taking a chance. It's not worth it.
Right.
I said, so I don't have, I said, all my money is just about gone. I says, do you have money to give me on this? I was going to my son. Hey, you do. But I just did my stuff. I did it. Oh, have mercy. I gotta have patience.
So,
That's right, boy. He know. He know what I'm saying. So, you know, it wasn't, my cousin Karen was correct. It wasn't a good idea.
mm,
So because we're not doing that anymore, I can spend more time, trying to, rehearse and try to get this tightened up. At least I can get that done. I really, I agree with Ayana. I don't think that was a good idea. I really don't.
mm,
Not at this time. That
mhm,
was no good idea.
mhm, mhm.
You know, so,
All right. Well,
yeah, 'cause that thing was expensive.
I
I
know
think
it
it
was.
was 1700.
Woo.
Yes. You hear me? Woo. And they promised that they all was gonna help pay.
Yeah, you need
Oh, they was
everybody.
gonna leave me
Mm,
with that.
mm,
And I'm glad that my oldest daughter spoke up because she knew
mm,
it wasn't right. And
mm,
why should we endanger our health
mhm,
going to Williamsburg and then we come back and then people got the sore throats and all kind of things going on.
mhm,
Now, they asked me about this. They asked me was it going to be a large audience because I expect them to be there.
mhm.
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
No, I mean, we're gonna be in a lockdown, starting this Monday. It's
Okay.
gonna be even more restrictions on gatherings and so forth like that. That we basically will, have just, no more than the folks who are like family and friends.
Right.
And then we'll have like maybe 10 people.
That's what I was telling her.
Mm-hmm.
I told that to Ayana. I told that to Latasha today.
Mm-hmm.
When she asked me again, she asked me, people have been asking me that more than once.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many people is going to be? And I said, well, I'm assuming, because I hate to have to wear this mask, because
Right.
personally.
Right. No, I don't want you to have
So,
to.
which
Right.
means the people are spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that I could pick up anything from the audience.
Right. Right.
So I didn't think it was necessary. I was
Right.
trying to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I said, it's probably only going to be exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if it don't be that, at least, it would have been taped. If there's not going to be anybody at all. If it ended up, if there's nobody at all, at least
Mm-hmm.
it'll be taped. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
thought.
Exactly. We're gonna
So,
make it a virtual event, that we're gonna
right.
make sure. Hey,
Exactly.
Darlene, would you prefer to film in here or in the parish hall? Which is a better space?
What looks more,
This is the most
looks
beautiful
more
space.
acceptable?
Prayer hall is nice.
With a
That's
stage?
nice too. It have house more people.
Mm-hmm.
But this right here is the most beautiful one.
Yes, I agree, it's the most beautiful one.
But I guess the hall, because that way you have a stage to sit out there.
Yeah,
If people have music, you have a stage.
right, right. Yeah, and also we can do two versions of it, we can film it in here,
Yeah,
and we can film it in there.
yeah, because this is
I
the most
mean,
beautiful
from,
place.
from y'all looking at the replay, which one looks more acceptable?
I mean, they're both workable.
They're both the
I mean,
same?
this is beautiful in here. There's no getting around how
This is
beautiful
the
it is.
most
Right.
beautiful place.
Mm-hmm. This is
Out
beautiful.
of the two. And having Sojourner Truth stand here in front of the church and everything,
Yeah.
it just shows it's the most beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, the 26th, that Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
we can do it in here. And then,
And 28, I think you said?
well,
Was it 28?
the Christmas is the 25th, it's on that
Right.
Friday, the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday, the 26th, we would film Sojourner Truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday, the 27th, we're gonna do the Nat Turner.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think I want to do them both on I want to do both of them the same day. I want to do Sojourner Truth first, and then Nat Turner
On that Sunday?
on that both Saturday and Sunday. I'm thinking.
Okay. Oh, I see. Saturday and Sunday. Okay.
So, like Saturday, Sojourner Truth would go first, and then on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
Sojourner
Go
Truth would
last.
go second. Right.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, do it, and then in the week, that week to follow, do it on that Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I think.
Wednesday. That's gonna be a performance. Or you talking about the Wednesday before Christmas Eve?
No, before New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay.
Because New Year's Eve is that Thursday, and New Year's Day it's that Friday. So to do it on Wednesday, and so on Wednesday we could do it. We would do it in here. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, all right. So we can.
Like just let me see. Like I said, if I had something where, you know, I could lay this and
Mhm.
still be able to remain in character.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
it.
So you're talking about some kind of stand or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
mostly like
A music
like
stand.
that music, like
Mhm.
music stand seems to me
Mhm.
like it's not as, you know, and it's lower. I think because you know I'm gonna have to sit
Mhm.
unless I'm sitting on a stool. If I have a stool, then that's different.
Yeah,
So-
you can. We'll find some kind. Yeah. So stool as opposed to a
Either
chair.
a
If you're sitting in
stool
there,
or a chair, you know.
or maybe
if
like a
it's
bench
stool.
even, a piano bench kind of.
Mm. A piano bench is basically gonna be like a chair, which is probably be as long as it's comfortable.
Mhm.
The good thing about a stool is that I should be able to slide down if I have to, when I get ready to stand up.
Mhm.
Because that's what I'm thinking about. I wanted to give that image of how she came and started talking at that podium. And she
Mhm.
spoke to everybody.
Mhm.
You know, when I get ready to do the speech. You know, I mean, it would be nice if I could switch, but that's going to be a little bit too much.
Look at that chair right there. Look, see the one that looks almost like a throne kind of thing.
Which chair?
Look, right there. The second one on the right here. You see it? It's a high back.
That one with the high back?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Something like
Yeah,
that.
that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that chair is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that when I get up to make it look like I'm at the convention. That's what I was talking about.
So you're talking about like something that's a little higher than this.
Yeah, because like I'm at the convention and I get up to go to the podium.
Mhm.
You know, when I say I think I'm sitting down from describing from what I've been reading.
Mhm.
I was sitting down, and it sounds to me like even though she was supposed to have already been on the program
Mhm.
to speak, And that's the one, because I saw that program
Mm-hmm,
I went to the Library of Congress.
mm-hmm,
I saw the program for the first day.
mm-hmm,
Her name was she was supposed to speak, but whether she was supposed to speak that first day, I don't know. She didn't speak in actuality to the second day. But the second day she spoke.
mm-hmm. Hello.
Hi, I'm the orders. How much longer will it be? I didn't know you were being here, so.
Yeah, we got moved around because of the Christmas sale and so forth like
That's
that.
fine, I just wish somebody had told me.
Sorry about
I
that.
would have driven all the way to Norfolk to practice.
Um,
How much longer will you be?
we are scheduled to be here till 4.
Oh my God.
Well, we don't have to, we were trying to rehearse this, but we don't have
If
to.
I can find
Let's
another
speak
room
loud.
for you, could you rehearse it? It's the organ, I can't move.
I understood.
No, we don't have to speak loud because we did most of what we was gonna
Well,
say. Been done already.
There's a parish hall, which is a big room.
the parish hall is where the Christmas
No,
stuff
I don't mean parish hall, there's another big room on the other end. Is it possible to rehearse it there?
is. It is.
That would be super if we could, because you either have to wait until 4 o'clock or drive all the way back to Norfolk from that point.
What time we have down, Miss Black? Let's see.
See, no one told me this. I come
Yeah.
every Saturday afternoon to practice.
Your name is, you're Jack?
I'm Jack. Right?
Okay, and I'm Sherry.
I'm sure. It's
And,
hard to recognize people from that.
yeah, it is, isn't it? So,
It's a fairly big room.
what did you have to say?
I had to use the bathroom. Is the other part of the church open?
There's a bathroom there. There's no bathroom right here. There's a bathroom right over
We
there.
discovered that, yeah.
It's
When
open
this
now?
church was built, I guess people didn't have to go to the bathroom.
Maybe that was that,
I was wondering, I was here yesterday, I was wondering why this big screen was here.
right, yeah, because we got moved around, we're here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, from 12 to 4 in the parish hall. But because of the Christmas events and so forth like that, we were moved over here, but we're happy to move to
Oh, that's
another
very
space,
kind of you. That would save me 2 hours of time.
Okay, no, that's not a problem at all, Jack. So let us, get ourselves organized to do that. And where are we moving to?
I'll show you. You go in the main door of the church, it's the first room on your right. Parish hall is down to the left, first room on your right. I'll show you.
Okay, well, I know exactly what we're talking about, okay, all right.
So they have a lot of meetings.
Right, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so, yeah, we will, it'll take us a few minutes to get ourselves together here, but we can do that. All right, so. All right.
I do have to practice for church in the morning.
Do understand. You're pretty dedicated, I see you here a lot.
Well, I try to rehearse them 4 or 5 days a week. It's better to rehearse them many short times than one long time. So the brain can absorb more of it.
There we go.